Welcome back, everyone. So this video, we're going to talk about a little bit more in depth into the gut and circadian biology. In the last video, we talked about why the gut is healing, why gut healing. It's not just about supplements and nutrition. I think as a culture, maybe you can't see it yet, but I've been doing this 25 years and people are so confused and we got it all wrong. SIBO, do a diet. Histamine, do a diet. Food intolerance, do a diet. The list goes on. It's like all we have to do is change our diet and we're going to heal. Hopefully you're seeing that this isn't working. So definitely go check out that video because we talked about digestion, how it works, how it begins in a parasympathetic state, how it's driven by the parasympathetic nervous system, how it's pH driven, and how a lot of people end up with food intolerances, leaky gut, GERD, SIBO, and so forth. So I think that we have to start looking at gut issues from a different perspective. And that's the whole goal of my YouTube channel and coming back here is to give you that shift in perspective. So you start looking at things differently instead of trying to make things that aren't working work because it's exhausting. So before we jump in, please like this video, please subscribe to our channel, and please share this with as many people as you can because of course it supports us and it supports the channel. Not financially, but it just supports us and that feels good, right? Secondly, what I want to say is if you want to learn more about our perspective on the gut, you can go to the description below. There's our 90-minute masterclass called The Gut Reset. Looking Beyond Food, or I forget the exact name of it. The Gut Reset Beyond Food. That's what it's called. I apologize for not putting up a video last week. I just totally forgot. It was spring break. We were away. My son was home. So we skipped a week. But we're here back again. And I want to talk about the gut from a very different perspective. And I have to say this, and of course, coming maybe from my mouth, maybe it doesn't mean much, right? But at the same time, if you go to the Gut Reset page in the description, you can see some of the testimonials. If you check us out on Instagram, at Real Food Gangsters, and you look at some of our successes within the Gut Reset highlight, you can see that we have amazing results with people. And I'm going to be transparent with you and be honest. 25 years ago when I got into this industry, the first thing that was presented to me was the Candida diet, right? That's another one, Candida problem diet. I hope you see the trend here. It's quite comical. And I went down this big path of the gut, right? Understanding the gut and how it worked and liver flushes and visceral massage and parasites and doing labs, right? And treating the gut. And, here's where we ended up. We ended up where 50% of the people felt better and 50% didn't. And the 50% that didn't, it was interesting. Some people would spend all this money on protocols. They do a lab and they would their gut issues would be gone, but they still didn't feel good. Or their gut issues were there and they actually felt better, right? That was the other area we ended up. But then we started seeing people doing labs and coming to us with all the labs we were doing. They were like, what labs are you going to do? What are you going to do next? What's the best next thing you could do? And unfortunately, I think when it comes to healing, gut doesn't work like that. I don't care if you have IBS, IBD, gastritis, diverticulitis, ulcerative colitis, GERD, leaky gut, dysbiosis, SIBO, or what type of SIBO, it doesn't matter. Any gut issue is a nervous system issue. Any gut issue is a pH issue. Any gut issue is a motility issue. And any gut issue is a circadian biology issue. And here's why. Our gut has, just like every system in your body has cells. And these cells are provided with information. And that information is based on light and dark. Because every single organism, human, reptile, plant, literally is driven biologically by sunlight and darkness. So when we wake up in the morning and the sun is rising, of course, it's different where you live in the seasons, the sun is about 0 to 10 degrees in the sky. You're going to get a red infrared light. This is red light therapy that everyone wants, but you just have to step outside and it's free. And don't tell me you live in a cold place, you live where it's cloudy and it's raining, and it doesn't matter. The sun is still there. Light spectrum can still get through. Of course, in the winter, it's going to be a little bit different because the sun is not as high, but you can still get the benefit. Trust me. And you don't have to spend $1,000 on red light. But this is the red infrared light. And what this does is it dims up cortisol. So that red light communicates to the neuropsin, melanopsin receptors in our eye through the retinal hypothalamic tract, through the SEN to the hypothalamus. That dictates, am I going to go parasympathetic? Am I going to turn on the necessary computer programs for the day to get through the day? Or am I going to go sympathetic? right? So as I talked about, if we wake up and we just flip on the lights, go on our phone, TV, whatever, that blue light is so strong, it's not found by itself anywhere in nature, that it communicates through the same cells to the hypothalamus and it pushes you sympathetic because it skyrockets cortisol. So that light is information to tell your body, hey, it's the middle of the day, even worse. And the problem is you're waking up and you're telling your body it's the middle of the day, but it's not. So really what you mess up when you don't get outside is that cortisol, melatonin, cortisol, leptin relationship, which of course can lead to weight gain, blood sugar issues, high triglycerides, insulin issues, PCOS, gut issues, you can't repair, you can't sleep, insomnia, the list goes on, right? Autoimmune issues. So that red light getting outside in the morning is so key because it helps you balance that cortisol melatonin relationship, which I'll talk about in a minute. Next is UVA, and I'll put a link for the circadian app that we use, my circadian app with a code, and you can track the sunlight based on the season where you live. It's easy. UVA is that blue-green and UVA photons. The light is about 10 to 30 degrees in the sky, and that's going to do a lot of things. My goal is not to give you a breakdown of everything. I'll probably do more videos of this. We go over this a little bit more in the gut reset, but a lot in our Nourish Nervous System 90-day program. But with relation to the gut, this time is so important because those UV photons interact with aromatic amino acids. One of them that it actually activates is tryptophan, and that tryptophan is converted to serotonin. That's used for two different things. First, it enhances gut motility through the endochromaffin cells in the villi of the gut. So those cells use that sunlight and that serotonin to support gut motility. Gut motility is the movement of food, the breakdown, the absorption, elimination of food through the system. That is digestion. That's why he said any digestive issue is a motility issue. That's a fact, right? So, because if we can't break things down and we move it, we get bacteria buildup, inflammation, high zonulin, parasites, the list goes on, right? Inflammation, diarrhea, constipation, it's a motility issue. So that morning sunlight UVA supports gut motility hands down, right? I'm not saying this is the only thing you have to do, but it's key. Second is that serotonin, some of it is docked to be converted to melatonin at light, like I just talked about with sunrise. And that's a really important thing because melatonin at night, the only thing that supports melatonin is darkness, right? Less light equals less digestive power. Your digestive system heals at night in darkness, and that gut lining repairs every 2 to 5 days naturally. So we have to ask ourselves, why do so many people have gut issues? It's because people aren't living in a way to support their biology to do what it's designed to do, to allow the gut to do what it's designed to do during the day, but also repair at night. Because what do most people do? They stay up and watch TV, or they stay up too late, or they're eating late at night, and so forth. This is information. This light and food is information to the GI system. You're telling the GI system it's the middle of the day when it's wanting to repair at night, so you never let the system repair. It would be like trying to use your phone all the time without plugging it in. That would not last very long, 24 hours or less. So you have to think about it, right? And then you have UVB, which is, of course, important because it allows our body to produce all those vitamin D precursors. And that sunrise in UVA is key because it helps us build melanin and eucuronic acid to build our own body sunscreen to protect against UVB, but also utilize it. And then you have sunset, and that sunset is kind of similar to sunrise, just not as intense, but what that does, it shifts you from pituitary to pineal so we can really go into that melatonin, because that melatonin released at night is autophagy and cell apoptosis. It's fixing damaged cells and clearing out cells that don't need to be there. It's repair, regeneration for the thyroid, for the immune system, for the gut, and so forth. Doesn't matter if you're sleeping, right? If you're not working with your circadian biology to support your body, to support serotonin and gut motility, to support melatonin so it can repair, right? I mean, you have to think about it. The gut is probably one of the most regenerative organs in the system because it's always under constant stress from the sense of taking in food, gut motility, breaking it down, and so forth. So it has to repair, but it does naturally repair. It doesn't repair with bone broth. It doesn't repair with glutamine, and it doesn't repair with hydrochloric acid. There's no need for any of that stuff. Zero. What we have to start doing is protecting ourselves and saying, well, I need to wear orange blue blockers in the morning because I need to turn on the lights. Or I wake up early and I can't get outside, or I need to wear them at night after sunset because I do turn on the lights, or I do turn the lights off, but I do watch a little TV. So at least you're protecting yourself. But you do want to make an effort to slowly be consistent over time with getting out at sunrise and UVA especially. That is key. Of course, in spring and summer, exposing your skin more to UVB to get that vitamin D, which is really important for so many different reasons. And then, of course, going outside at sunset to create that switch. Now, here's the thing. There's many ways to do this. You can go for walks after your meals. You could just step outside. You can roll up the windows. You can roll your window down when you're driving to work. You can step outside when you get to work and just stand there for a minute. Consistency is key. It doesn't always have to be, I got to go outside for 10 minutes, right? If I rolled up this window right now on the screen, those light particles would get in here. Is it as effective as going outside? No, but it's better than flipping on the blue lights because we're inundated with blue lights everywhere we go. Right? Whether it be our phone, our computer, our TV, our electric toothbrush, the coffee maker, the oven, the microwave. I mean, the list goes on, right? And that blue light is really strong. And the problem is we need about less than 10 kelvins in order for melatonin to come out to play, right? And if you use the app I share with you and you test these different things, you'll find that yes, incandescent light bulbs are less than LEDs, way less. But you'll find a lot of red light therapies are actually really high. Right? Another thing you can do is use candles. Candles are like 6 kelvins. So you can light candles in the morning or light candles at night if you don't want to turn on the lights or wear blue blockers, right? You could also wear yellow blue blockers during the day if you're at your computer all day. You can see when we're inside, especially this time of year, we don't even turn on the lights. It's not even worth it, right? But it's always about creating consistency and say, this is where I live. This is what my work is, but how do I work around it, right? We all have time to go on our phone. We all have time to buy and take supplements. We all have time to count our macros. But for some reason, the easiest, most simple, cheapest thing that's free, we can't just step outside. We have to ask a question why. And I can tell you that the people we work with gut issues, when they start doing this consistently and slowly over time, the amount of results they get are amazing without even focusing on their food yet. Without even focusing on their food. Lastly, when it comes to food, I'm not going to talk about what to eat and all those things because I did a little bit in the last video, but you want to focus on your feeding window and your fueling window, especially more so when you have gut issues. So that feeding window is don't eat before sunrise, don't eat after sunset. Hands down, that is a rule when you have a gut issue. Why? Again, you want your body to be aligned with how your biology works based on the light and the dark cycle. Right? So if you eat at 3 in the morning or 4 in the morning and the sun isn't up, your body is not prepped to take in that food. It doesn't know that it's morning time yet, right? Because light is information. Now, food is information too, but you tell your body and your cells kind of the wrong time of the day. Of course, after sunset for the same reasons, but more so because we want to kick in that melatonin. If we eat, it won't kick in, even though if you have darkness, and you want your GI system to repair. So nothing before sunrise, nothing after sunset. And then your feeding window or fueling window, I always mix up which one's which, but it's your frequency. So what we try to do with people with gut issues is we want to try them to get a dense enough meal where they don't have to snack and it pushes them to that next meal. Why? Because you want to create enough of a gap between your meals. Sometimes in the afternoon, sometimes people do need a small snack, but you want to create enough density at those meals that A, the meal works for them, but they have enough space. Why? To allow the system to come on to do what it's designed to do, but also rest so it can repair. Also rest so leptin can dock, which is a huge piece of that melatonin nighttime program as well. And we want to restore that leptin signaling, right? To get the body out of that scarce-sitting state. And what this does is it supports beneficial bacteria like Akkermansia. It supports butyrate production in the gut. It supports repair, regeneration, and so forth, right? I would say lastly, and this is kind of a something we talk a little bit more because it does all the same things that I just talked about, is sometimes when people have severe gut issues, this is probably more so in the winter, you can use a red light therapy on your gut in the morning. But it never takes the place of going outside. You're still going outside, right? But at the same time, when it's nice out, you could just eat breakfast outside or just step outside and lift your shirt up. And here's why that morning sun, that red infrared light, same as red light therapy, that everyone's promoting is so key for gut issues, is because that red light not only supports that ecchymenia and gut motility, but what it does is it supports intracellular melatonin. And this is a huge antioxidant to reduce inflammation in the system, right? Because that infrared could penetrate deep. So there's a lot to take in here. We go over it a little bit more outlined and strategic in the gut reset. But hopefully based on these last two videos, you can see why the 4-Hour Gut Healing Program, why just nutrition, and why just new supplements don't work to heal the gut. We have to come at it from a different perspective and truly understand that our habits, behaviors, and our experiences shape our biology. That's what creates the gut issue, because we're not living in a way to support the gut to create the outputs it's designed to create. When we start changing our habits and behaviors and we support our body to do what it's designed to do, which is create health, you not only heal your gut, but you'll never have a gut issue again. As always, my friends, thank you for your support. I'll see you next time.